Hello, my name is Ilona, and in this short video I want to talk about karma. And that's quite a word. A lot of people have a lot of insights on it and of course different perspectives. So I'm just going to talk about my perspective and how I view karma. And I see it as consequences of our choices, of the choices that we make, if we make them consciously or unconsciously. And I think that's very important to realize. I've also been in therapy, like regression therapy. I've been in past lifetimes where I had no awareness whatsoever. And that had, of course, consequences for the choices that I made. And it's very interesting to me to see that. And that this really is about growing. And every time we learn something more and more. And we have to start with being completely unaware. And that opens up possibilities so we can become more and more aware. So it's not always possible for people to make the right choices because they're not aware of what is truly going on. It's also very important to realize. But really it's about how you see things. And of course, if you're already on this path, you are becoming more and more aware. And the more aware you are, the better choices you can make. And that will, of course, have consequences. And they can say, of course, good karma and bad karma. But it's really about choices. Karma to me is neutral. What are your choices? Are you making good choices for yourself? Are you really taking care of yourself, loving yourself, seeing yourself as, someone that has, can be loved, that is lovable, authentic, or do you see yourself as a perpetual victim and everything happening is awful and you're being punished for all kinds of things? Because if you believe that, of course, you're going to make choices based on that and your energy will draw in situations that will match that energy. So obviously, if you feel like everything is going wrong, then ultimately you will keep creating that. And that you can see as karma. See, I've got lots of bad karma being punished here, but it's not about punishment. It's really just chances to change, to understand that this is the energy, because really life is just showing you your energy. If you feel a certain way, you feel awful, you not feel like you can handle this, everything is falling apart, and that is what you're going to see in your life, obviously, because that's why you feel that way. And it will continue until you realize that, wait, this is just a reflection of my energy. If I change my energy, work through pain, work through fear, work through anger, then things will change because I will make different choices. And that is so important to realize. So karma is not something like it's set in stone. Before we, of course, come to this life, we have a soul contract. We want certain things that we want to live through, experience. We choose our parents, and of course, our parents choose us as well. Usually there is a connection through soul families because you want to help each other or you have to work out things. And this was also a very interesting question in a live. I've done a spiritual live on Friday where someone was asking, how is it possible if children choose their parents that they later on in life step away from their parents and just disconnect the contact, so not in contact anymore? Well, that has multiple reasons. It can have all kinds of different reasons, but it's very possible that children want something to experience them. And the parents also want to grow in certain things. So if the parents may decide not to grow in certain things, or they don't have the awareness, they don't want to take the steps, they remain dysfunctional, then of course when a child grows up and wants a different life, that they will choose to, stop contacting their parents because it doesn't match anymore and they need to protect their energy. It's also possible that the parents never were possible of changing their minds or whatsoever, and that it's really just for the child to experience this and then move on. That's also a possibility. But it's very important to understand with soul contracts that people still, when they're here, can decide something else. I do believe that the soul contract is kind of evolving along. So if you make different choices, that will lead to different karma, so to speak, or different consequences for your life. If you made a decision to follow a certain education or made a decision not to follow a certain education, maybe start working when you're very young, that has a completely different life that is connected to those choices. And of course, it depends on your own energy. If it feels like punishment, if it feels like good karma, so to speak, that will be completely up to you. But it's very important to realize with karma, it's not set in stone. I don't think your soul contract is set in stone as well. And certain things in your soul contract will happen or could be placed there. But if you make choices completely far away from that, certain things won't be able to happen or happen in a completely different way because there won't be a connection to you. And that is very important, that we start to realize how powerful we are. Because ultimately, we are the ones to decide what we want in our lives and what's going to happen and the chances and changing things. Very, very important that you realize, all right, I make decisions, whether I do it on a conscious level or unconscious level. Hopefully, more and more people are making conscious choices. That's what the Great Awakening is about. Understanding that we are creators. So making our own choices what we truly want to create, because that will have an effect on our life. But it's also important to look at our energies, because that is what we're attracting. So if you want to change something in your life, but you're not changing your energy, you're going to have a very mixed bag of things happening. Like if you want to maybe attract the love of your life into your life, but you don't feel loved or you don't feel like you're worthy of love, you're probably going to draw in all kinds of candidates that just don't fit or just are not, maybe selfish in a way or maybe have narcissistic tendencies. It's all possible. That has to do with not loving yourself. It's not being punished, because that can feel like, oh, see, I'm attracting all these awful people. It says something about me, and it says something about, I'm not allowed to have love or anything. That's not the case. It means that you don't believe that you are allowed to have love. And you can change that, because it's really, what do you believe about yourself? That is going to be reflected in everything around you. That's the beauty of this Great Awakening. See how powerful we are, and then we can really change things. And of course, years ago, I have to say, the energy was much heavier. So it took a long time before we saw the consequences or the full consequences of our actions. So it's very possible that people had no idea that there was a connection between what was happening in their lives now and what the choices they've made years ago. Now, because of the energy, for me, it feels like a higher energy. It's like it's manifesting way sooner. It's like almost instantly. And that can be good if you make good choices. But of course, if you do not fully understand what is going on, you can actually create, awful situations for yourself. So look at your life, look at what you're creating, and understand that that is not a punishment. It's a chance to realize how you feel about things, how you on an unconscious level feel about yourself. Change that energy, and you will change your choices and change your life. And that's the beauty of the Great Awakening. And I think that's the most important part. So I'd like to leave it at this, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.